Oh shit, it's one. I better get started. What's up? It is Saturday. I'm actually streaming earlier than I usually do, so. Because I got plans in the evening. Just going to give it a little bit of time before I actually start jumping into the different topics I want to talk about. Give people a little bit of time to trickle in. Hey, Kudere fanboy. Finally caught a stream. How you been? I've got... Oh, could do 5 different topics today. Wow. Doing okay? Sometimes that's the best it can be, and nothing wrong with that. Oh, you're on vacation? Hoping it's a fun place. Or even if it's just like a relaxing staycation at home kind of thing. Mostly chilling on the beach? Nice. I do welding during the week. And it's not very fun. It gets really, really warm. So, kind of jealous that you're out on the beach. But hey, you enjoy it while you can. Let's see. I'm not sure what I exactly want to start with. I'm getting distracted by Twitter, like random videos. Let's see. We can talk about the ear piercing or the tricky stuff. There was this dude who claims edgy humor and then just makes a racist joke. That won't be very long. It's just talking about that kind of humor. A streamer known as Ninja put out a clip that's, or somebody clipped Ninja, some Fortnite streamer, and that got a lot of traction. So, like, I haven't actually watched the clip myself yet. It's like 3 minutes long.
Leave me alone.
Oh.
I will say though, bro, like the internet.
Shush. Yeah, 3 minute long clip. Then we got a 20-minute long video about Star Wars The Acolyte. Overall, I actually enjoyed the series. So, we'll see what this person has to say about it. I'm pretty sure they didn't like it. They've been complaining about it a lot. We'll see what they have to say, what their complaints are. Do they have a lot in that 20 minutes, or is it just word salad? We'll find out. And then there's also the mascot of Japan is pretty pro-trans, so that's pretty poggers. That's kind of why what I want to end the stream on. End it on like an uplifting, positive note. You have a few things? What you got? I'm still really debating what I want to start with. Doesn't matter, I'm always cooking something when catching your stream. What are the odds? Let's see. Could start off with the reaction video. It's an easier way to start. I'm also giving people a little time to trickle in some more because, like, most people that do end up watching the stream are not in at the very start. Usually takes a bit for people to recognize. And I miss Final Fantasy 14. Not dead or anything, it's just I can't subscribe fucking on the website for whatever reason. It's just not accepting the card. And I just haven't taken the time to buy a prepaid time card. Let's see, what do I actually want to start with? Do I want to excuse me, do I want to start with the tricky stuff? Get it out of the way early? Do I want to might as well talk about the ninja stuff. Anybody happen to have a preference? I'm kind of actually leaning towards starting off with talking about the Acolyte. You know what? I think I will just start with that. Playback speed 1.25. So there will be spoiler warning. Hey, Nessie. There will be spoiler warnings for the Acolyte because we're talking about the finale. No Disney account anymore? Oh, fair enough. Okay, I think I'll just start diving into that one. Why isn't my Stream Deck working right? Like, I'm trying to hit my record button, but it's not recording. OBS is literally open. Why are you waiting for it? What's a stream without scruff? Or scuff, whatever. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna have to fix that office stream if I remember. Be like that. Technology's supposed to work for me. So recently, the finale came out for the Acolyte, the latest Star Wars show on Disney Plus, and I've been watching it week to week. I do personally have some criticisms of it. However, largely the backlash that I've ended up seeing online just hasn't really, it hasn't felt like substantive criticism. So today we're going to go over a 20-minute video by a channel called Star Wars Theory. We're going to see what his complaints about it are. Because I mean, 20 minutes, it's got to be substantive, right? Anyways, boop. So, I'm just going to give the blanket spoiler warning. If you haven't watched it yet and you care about spoilers, probably watch it before watching this video.
Fulfill your destiny. TheorySabers.com.
Finally, the end is here, and I couldn't be more happy that this show is actually over. And that really pains me to say this, because I would have loved for it to be everything that I had hoped for it to be, which was something really cool. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And I'm going to explain my reasons in depth here in this video. Before we begin,
because like you're opening with, I wish it was cool, but it wasn't. Please elaborate. Hey, Becca.
a happiness that the show is over, I'm doing a 15% sale on TheorySabers.com, which is my brand.
Good
company.
for you.
Code is Rejoice. It's a 24-hour sale. It's going to end tonight. So whenever you're seeing this video, it'll probably be done around 3 a.m. Eastern time on the 18th. So take advantage of it while you can. So let's get into this. We pick up from episode 6 with Osha wearing the helmet, who ends up having some kind of spasm and sends
jumping
Chimere into a
right
weird
into it. So, from what I understood, Osha put on the Cortosis helmet, which like blocks out all other kinds of senses, and it's just you and the Force in there. And Osha was having trouble wearing it.
World, much like Anastasia did to poor Torben when she got all close and personal to tell him that she'll never deny him and always give him what he wants. Who later offed himself for literally no reason. You guys remember Torben?
No reason? Dude, Torben lived with the guilt for years, dude. Like, Torben realized, oh, thanks for becoming a beef, Becca. But Torben was tormented. Why the fuck do you think he took his vow of silence or whatever? Why the fuck do you think he just stuck to that instead of doing like any other Jedi shit? Like going out on missions. Dude just meditated. He was haunted by his guilt of being the inciting incident that led to the monasteries burning down in the end. Thought he was doing the right thing, and it led to a bunch of people dying, and it broke him. But yeah, no reason why he drank that poison.
Yeah, poor guy. Anyways, much like that, Osha has some power surge, and it makes Chimere's eyes all black as he finally takes the helmet off. Now, personally, I didn't really understand this scene. I was thinking maybe she's drawing on some powers from her mother, but also, who really understands?
I will agree here. I didn't really get where the why Chimere's eyes were turning black as well. It was definitely as if some kind of witch protection, because like Osha comes from a family. Yeah, let's go with family. A family of force-sensitive witches in space. And when the Jedi first went to confront them, Torben was put under a sort of illusionary mind control where one of Osha's mothers, because she has two, because the show is woke and everybody loves it, Torben was put under mind control, and his eyes went fully black like Chimere's was in that previous clip. So, like, it didn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. Like, I didn't feel that part got really explained thoroughly. Though, maybe they're setting up for season 2. I mean, that's kind of the vibe I got with the way they ended the episode.
Anything in the show. Anyways, the scene was kind of like a Professor Xavier sort of moment from Logan where he just loses his ability to control his powers and just paralyzes everyone around him. Switching to May and Sol, she uses the droid that she reset to factory settings like an iPhone to break free from the shackles that Sol bound her to on the table, where he's called the Jedi to come in and explain everything to them. She lures him towards her by making him overly emotional, no big surprise there, for killing her mom, and she electrifies him and runs away to the escape pod, abandoning ship like Grievous.
Time to abandon ship.
Now, instead of continuing to run,
he
runs after her, stops for a second, yells her name, and then continues to run, at which point it's too late and she gets away. As Sol chases her in an asteroid field, the Gopher tracker guy gets angry and sabotages his ship by yanking out wires. Why? Just because. I don't really know. Maybe someone knows the answer in the comments. Let us know, please. Maybe.
This part did make, like, not much sense to me. The closest I could parse out with this specific scene was he didn't necessarily want May to be doing whatever the fuck she was doing, but Basil, that's his name by the way, was like, he wanted to stop her, but he didn't want Sol to shoot her down, because like, I'm willing to bet Basil, I forget how to actually pronounce it. I'm pretty sure he didn't want anybody to actually get hurt, because, you know, he is working with the Jedi. They kind of uphold the peaceful defenders trope, and maybe this guy just believes in that and doesn't think people should be killed by the Jedi. Who knows?
Maybe he smelled danger. I don't know. They crash land on Brendok. Vernet
Well, to be fair, the reason Soul figured out it was May instead of Osho was because Basil was making a big stink about her.
Esther gets another joke about having diarrhea during hyperspace from the politician, who somehow also knows that she has tummy problems and also knows the bigger issue.
She doesn't have tummy problems. It's a head thing. It's essentially like she gets vertigo on spaceships. That's not tummy problems. That's psychological.
That the Jedi have been slain. Who told him about this? How did this get out? I don't know. Now, just like Snarky J mentioned,
Matt, the Jedi are a big organization. Rumors slip, dude. That's kind of how. And besides, there is probably informants among the Jedi that side with the politicians. Who knows? The show really depicts that the Jedi Order is not as black and white as people think it is. It's grayer than that, and it really highlights the issues among the Jedi Order, which lead up to the eventual downfall of the Order and the Republic broadly. I mean, if you pay attention to narrative anyways.
I'm thinking this is probably some sort of an inside joke that Leslie has with her wife, which is all cute and fun, but please don't keep interjecting that stuff into Star Wars. There's no reason why a Jedi should have diarrhea or vomiting when they're traveling in space. It's a Star Wars.
It's like having seasickness when on a boat. That it's literally what they're drawing the parallel to, essentially. That like that's okay.
Star Wars. Powerful Jedi Master goes against some of the most powerful beings in the galaxy and saves the day, but furiously needs a toilet when she goes into hyperspace, which is quite often.
This dude watched the show, right? Was he even paying attention?
I think humanizing Jedi Masters is fun to a degree, but, you know, it gets to a point where, why? We don't see Anakin ever asking to use the toilet.
Why should we humanize Jedi Masters? Maybe it would help make them more relatable to viewers. But who needs representation, right?
Do we?
This is outrageous.
Anyways, nitpick, not really a big deal, but just another, at this point, just another dart on the board. Anyways, this politician who is now in the control room, thanks to the random Jedi guy for letting him in a classified.
Naruto also had sicknesses like Itachi and people loved those details. Did Itachi have sickness beyond the effects of using the Mangekyo Sharingan? Because, like, I know he was going blind from overuse of that. But I don't know if there's anything beyond that. Oh, there was? Okay, then I just don't remember it, because I paid a lot of attention to Naruto in high school, but ended up falling off after a while. Never really disliking it, just not engaging with the manga or anime.
Area. Great work. Has heard that she's covering up a murder investigation. Yeah, that's right. You heard that right. Everyone in the galaxy apparently knows that the Jedi have been dying. Not only that, but it's being literally covered up, except for Grandmaster Yoda.
I mean, a lot of people were around with a handful of from just the May attacks. There was a lot of people that saw what happened. So yeah, word's going to get out in a fucking massive fucking universe such as Star Wars, where there's so many races, so many so many people on different planets and shit. Also, was Yoda even mentioned? Because he pops up at the end, which, I mean, we'll talk to it when we talk to it, because this guy's going over the episode. But I honestly don't remember hearing Yoda be mentioned during the episode whatsoever. I remember for a lot of this season, I was thinking, I wonder if Yoda is going to get a cameo or like an offhand mention, because dude would be around right now. He lived for hundreds of years, like multiple hundreds, and this takes place roughly 100 years before the Phantom Menace. So yeah, Yoda would or most definitely be a Jedi Master by then.
Pretty cool. Nice. It's just a publicly known news thing at this time that both she has tummy issues and she's covering up a murder. Nice. I wonder who else knows about this information. Or rather, I wonder who told this politician about this information. Maybe it was Ki-Adi-Mundi. Maybe. She says she has the authority to take independent action if there's no larger threat. You know, because like 10 Jedi Masters dying isn't really anything to worry about, especially after a time of peace. Like Ki-Adi-Mundi said, 1,000 years, no one's really died, the Sith have never returned. But here we have, like 10 to 15 Jedi Masters that are just dead. Nobody sensed it. It's a cover-up story. It's all good. Vernestra's got it under control. Yoda.
Well, all the Force-sensitive people, or almost all the Force-sensitive people, are part of the Jedi Order, and all these Jedi were killed on a planet that was like, it had some merchants or something on the outskirts of a big forest, and then an extremely dense forest where that has the reputation of everybody that goes in there doesn't come out. So a lot of these Jedi go into there and only some of them come out. That makes sense to a lot of the local populace. And of course people are going to fucking talk about this.
But it didn't sense anything, nothing out of the norm, just business as usual on Coruscant at the Jedi Temple. I think what blows my mind is that so many people know about dead Jedi during a time of supposed peace that Ki-Adi-Mundi preaches.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
All the Jedi...
Huh. Maybe the Jedi were covering up that shit because they wanted to appear as the perfect keepers of the peace that they want to be. I don't know.
In that room with Ki-Adi-Mundi knew. This random politician heard it from another politician or someone. He knows, Vernestra knows, Sol and Osha and May and all these other people know. Pretty much everybody but Yoda. The politician pushes...
It's a handful. Okay, after the planet where all those Jedi were killed, where Kelnaka was making or taking his exile, just living out his exile there, it was primarily just Osha, Sol, and like that second party that went to go check on shit. That, like, there's multiple scenes of her gathering up lots of people. So yeah, there's quite a few people that know, but I'm willing to bet the general public didn't hear about it. Because, corruption runs deep.
To have Vernestra investigated if she doesn't come up with the suspect and neutralize the issue and have it under control. So inevitably, in the end, well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Also, I just want to point out, I actually kind of like that politician, because that politician was pushing to have a third-party check and balance on the Jedi Order. And Vernestra is covering it all up because she legit wants to maintain her power. Like, the exact same shit of what went down with Palpatine taking power.
Hymir and Osha continue their lovers' quarrel, which in the end, of course, works out. She denies him right now to be trained, and we move to them leaving the planet. But not
Lovers'
before,
quarrel?
wait for it, Darth Plagueis shows up in the shadows. That's right, Darth freaking Plagueis. Creeping out from a dark cave as he peers in the shadows at them. Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Like, he does got the Sith eyes, and what's the issue with a split-second cameo? It did make me wonder, was Plagueis the one putting Hymir into that mind control thing when he was trying to take the helmet off of Osha? Because Plagueis actually wants to push Osha towards the dark side. And a lot of Chymir's arc is about how he wants to find an Acolyte to build up his power, all that fun shit. I'm willing to bet Hymir learned from Plagueis and wants to stop him. and wants to kill him and take his power. I'm pretty sure we've all heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis. We know how that plays out. We saw the movie, right? We all watched Revenge of the Sith.
Where the hell was he this whole time? Nice of him to show up.
In the cave. Obvious.
An influential and galactically respected man, super rich, known as Higo Damask, that isn't supposed to be alive yet. And yet, if he is, he'd be no more than 15 or maybe 20 years old. But really...
So... maybe Palpatine isn't the one that kills Plagueis. Maybe Chymir's the one that kills Plagueis, and then Palpatine kills Chimir. But Chimir tells Palpatine about his previous master. We don't know yet. We've just had one season of a new show.
Really, let's be real. The age thing is not the issue, just like the age thing wasn't the issue with Ki-Adi-Mundi. Yet, the other side that supports the show so much made that to be the focal point, that's what people are pissed off about. You know what? I don't care. Change your birthday. Whatever.
Personally, I think a lot of the backlash is largely because it cast a black character or a black actor as the main character.
No big deal. Rather, it's his fascination with Osha and May that keeps him a creepy lurker in the back.
Huh. Why would a Sith Lord want to monitor and observe people that were not born naturally? Huh. I don't know.
Learned that the witches were the first to manipulate the Force to create life. And he got so turned on by it, so intrigued, that he made it his life's work to try and fail at it, at what only the witches could do and succeed at. God, you know, this show just...
Who created Anakin Skywalker? Like, we all know Anakin Skywalker had a mother on Tatooine, but didn't have a father. I thought it was Plagueis who got that to finally work. He finally got to create life out of midichlorians or whatever, and that led to the birth of Anakin Skywalker. Am I missing something? Like, what Sith brazenly goes out of their way or like does things out in the goddamn open without being forced into the open kind of thing? Because like Chimir didn't directly announce himself or whatever. He's known as the fucking stranger for the most of the show.
Spits all over Legends. And one of my favorite characters of all time that I wanted to have in live action so badly. And this is how they do it. A freaking shoehorned moment just to say, here he is. Here's Darth Plagueis. We put him in, and we're going to do a lot more with him with season 2, as Leslie Headland has said. He's keeping tabs on the girls because they're a virgins in the Force, and they were created by the Force itself. So by the time Anakin rolls around, he's feeling even more like a failure. It's like the Oprah show. A virgin's for you, a virgin's for you, another virgin's in the Force for you. Hey, we'll give you 2. Why not? I really don't like this show. I really don't like it for what it's done to the characters, for how it's interjected itself and shoehorned itself into right before The Phantom Menace, which is what George started writing.
It's 100 years before The Phantom Menace. It's not right before. Dude.
In 1994, 1995, in his little room, as we've seen in the behind the scenes.
There is drama inherent in it because there is a lot of betrayal and a lot of things like that going on.
Which is supposed to be 1,000 years of peace. 1,000 years of no Jedi dying, no Sith showing up, and now it's just all ruined. You know, and my question is...
So you don't like the idea of Jedi covering up all that stuff to maintain their strong image. You just want them to be that strong image with no actual depth. I personally like having depth to stories. I like being able to think about stuff and how it ties into other shit. I
wonder who signed off on this. And as we've heard Leslie Headland say, that Pablo signed off on the majority of things from that interview she had, as well as, of course, I would imagine Dave Filoni would sign off on things too. Why is this okay to sign off on? You know, the majority of people have a problem with it, so it obviously doesn't make sense to put this in the show.
The majority of people have a problem with it. Do you just stick to conservative circles? Because, like, you say the majority of people have a problem with it, but then you also say, like, the defenders are not enough of us, but there's enough people that enjoy the show to green light a second season? I'm confused what their narrative is.
I don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Let's continue, shall we? And if you're still here, good for you. Jedi Master Pepto-Bismol blasts off into hyperspace to Brendok as Sol tries to find May back at the Witch Coven in the mountains where they retreat to. We see the bridges that Sol tried to hold up with the Force and remember just how ridiculous that scene really was, where he could have easily held on to the girls and avoided all of this instead of struggling to hold the extremely heavy bridges from collapsing. Then at the last moment,
Oh, it's almost like people don't make the absolute perfect decision in moments of crisis. Huh. Weird.
choosing just one of the girls and then running to actually grab her when he was just using the Force. Hold the bridges, could have held the girls, failed at doing that, failed at holding just one, then ran over to grab her. Well,
Frankly, I do actually kind of agree with this point. The optimal play would be to grab both of the girls and then force pull them towards you, the safety. He could have saved both, but he made a mistake in how he should execute that action in the moment and has lived with the guilt of it for the rest of his fucking life, dude.
all right. I guess he was Force drained from holding the bridges up. May climbs up from where Sol leaped to grab Osha's hand as a kid, and, it's like poetry, it rhymes, or, something like that. They all walk around and reminisce about the bricks burning from a candle, and Osha gets inside. Chimere and Sol fight. It's very Matrix-esque, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, slow-mo, and I'm looking forward to Shadiversity's breakdown of the fight scene, because, look, I already noticed a crap ton, but we'll just leave it to the professionals to break that down. Let's handle the lore here.
Yeah, leave it to the guy that talks about sword fighting that constantly gets debunked by, actual historians and sword fighters. Leave it to the dude that thinks AI art is going to replace art to talk about proper sword technique.
Which is what I do. May tells Osha the truth about Sol killing Anastasia, their mother. They fail to leave out the part where she turned into a sharp-toothed, long-faced demon creature with black eyes that turned into black evaporating smoke, who also started to take the child and turn her into a black evaporating smoke, disintegrating her as she started to look afraid and bewildered. And then Sol did the right thing by eliminating the threat when previously they had taken over the mind of one of their Padawans, and he's now the bad guy. Sol
Yeah, no, fair point. Sol felt guilty about killing their mother for a very long time. So much so that he didn't tell Osha about it. Now, personally, because, like, with that scene, Sol was trying to bring Osha back to the Jedi for training, and then the mother starts turning into the Force smoke, and then May starts turning into the Force smoke, and then Sol, like, from what I remember, she was mostly Force smoke. Sol put his lightsaber right into that Force smoke, and then that killed her. And then her dying words were, "I was going to let Osha go with you." Like, so it turns out that the mother, who was turning into Force smoke to leave with May, the one that already had the ritual done on it, or done on her, she was going to leave with that daughter and leave Osha to go with the Jedi, because that's what Osha was saying she wanted. But it gets a little more gray than that, too.
did what he thought was right, what he thought was best in the moment. But yeah, sure, he killed her for no reason, I guess. She confesses that she failed as a Jedi because she couldn't contain her anger against her sister. And as Leslie said, the Jedi are apprehensive to train Anakin because of their failure with Osha. Nice. It's a good thing they had...
That kind of makes sense, and as well as Jedi have been around for a very long time. Osha wouldn't have been the first one to stop getting the training due to emotions being hard to control. It's, at least to me, it seems pretty fucking obvious that the Jedi won't continue training people that let their emotions get the better of them, because they want their Jedi Knights to be centered. They want their Jedi Knights to it's like when a Jedi is centered, they're goddamn unstoppable. Just ask Count Dooku. But when a Jedi is off balance, it's a lot easier for them to be taken advantage of, for like their mind being clouded and all that fun stuff.
So many warnings, and they got to practice on Osha's failure so they would know exactly what not to do when Anakin shows up to avoid, a whole bunch of destruction and stuff. Oops, I guess not. Lightsabers smoke and spark now.
I don't get that point. What was he making?
Anger against her sister. And as Leslie said, the Jedi are apprehensive to train Anakin because of their failure with Osha. Nice. It's a good thing they had so many warnings, and they got to practice on Osha's failure so they would know exactly what not to do when Anakin shows up to avoid, a whole bunch of destruction and stuff. Oops, I guess not. Lightsabers smoke and spark.
But the Jedi were apprehensive about training Anakin because he was old. He was older than the average age that they induct children into their order. And his thoughts were always with his mother, who was left as a slave on that planet. Like, did you watch episode 2? The Attack of the Clone, the whole, like, a big part of why Anakin was pushed towards the dark side was because he couldn't save his mother, and he couldn't let go of those emotions. He couldn't control that. He means even if they trained Anakin, he still would have turned into Vader regardless. No, the Jedi ended up training Anakin. Obi-Wan trained Anakin. So, like, I just don't get his point.
Now, I guess that's a thing, whereas in the prequel trilogy, it just doesn't happen.
Sense great fear in you, Skywalker.
What point is he making with all these?
Bunch of destruction and stuff. Oops, I guess not. Lightsabers smoke and spark now. I guess that's a thing, whereas in the prequel trilogy, it just doesn't happen.
Huh, maybe technology got better in the 100 years between the show and the movies.
Sense great fear.
Also, the sparking off of lightsabers is a cool aesthetic. It helps. It makes the saber clashes where they're just standing there together a little bit more interesting.
You, Skywalker.
I hope I don't get copyrighted. Oh, whoa. Did you not see that ember off of Obi-Wan's arm? Whoa, that doesn't make sense. It should just instantly cauterize. It shouldn't light any... Whatever.
Sol disarms Chimere, and he's about to kill him like Mace Windu did to Palpatine.
You are under arrest, my lord.
But May intervenes, beats him up, and disarms him like he's nothing, and saves the day. She throws the lightsaber away, which clearly was not from TheorySabers.com, because it dents and cracks from a simple little toss into the wind.
While being bashed around. Okay.
Exposing the Kyber crystal. She wants Sol to stand trial and confess that he eliminated their mom. He says that they were created by the Force, that they're not even twins and they're just one person, and that creating a entity like that is a very dangerous power. Someone who is extremely powerful could only do that. And he's right. Nobody else in the galaxy was able to do it. Not Plagueis, not Palpatine, nobody else. But Leslie Headland's randomized new characters that she created and shoehorned in to right before the Phantom Menace. Osha shows up.
weren't they witches of Dathomir, or was that just speculated by Torben? I think it was. Because, like, the Force-sensitive witch cult is already established in Star Wars canon. Please watch the Clone Wars TV show, the 3D one. It's really good.
Sol confesses and answers all of Osha's questions, and basically proves to her and the audience how he protected her for all of those years, from the Jedi taking her out, sending her away, rejecting her from being a Jedi, which is what she wanted. He essentially protected her and saved her. He confesses his love for her like a daughter, and she uses the first Force choke, I guess, ever in Star Wars here, and that's what it's supposed to, I suppose, establish. And it does exactly what Kymir ordered May to do from the start, which was to kill a Jedi without a weapon, to use, the Force, the dark side of the Force. And Osha chokes the absolute life out of Sol, who allows her to do this willingly by saying it's okay as he drops to his knees. And
Because Sol was filled, like, completely filled with guilt over his actions, and he felt, as I'm willing to bet, he felt that it was some kind of penance of his to let Osha do that or some shit, because he was clearly he clearly couldn't let go of his feelings towards Osha. It's almost as if it's telling the story, or hitting the narrative beats of how Jedi are meant to cast away those feelings so shit like this doesn't happen. Like, the Jedi don't want more Sith.
and we see what looks to be a CGI tear speed run down his cheek. Nice! $180 million budget can't even get a proper CGI tear in there. But hey, I guess, the CGI in Anakin's pear bite from Attack of the Clones isn't any better. But mind you, that budget was like almost half of this.
If Master Obi-Wan caught me doing this, he'd be very grumpy.
And also, about 22 years earlier, she turns the blue crystal to red. So let's pause for just a second here, okay? Shall we have to explain?
Oh, is he going to get mad at us seeing a corruption of a kyber crystal? Is he mad that that Sith kyber crystals are not synthetic anymore, and that the crystals themselves are attuned to the Force wielder that uses them? Because, like, in Legends, the Jedi consulars used green lightsabers because they were, like, more Force wieldy. I think it was Knights, I can't remember the specific term, but the Jedi that were more in line with the saber dueling and the saber techniques ended up with the blue crystals. And, like, they still had Force powers, but they weren't as great with them. Which is, like, why Obi-Wan was still pretty good in all 8 parts of the Force, but his best skill was his saber fighting. And then Yoda, who everybody knows as, like, a powerful Force user, had the green lightsaber. However, with the merging of LucasArts and Disney, they kind of changed things up so that a kyber crystal reflects the... So I'm going to go with soul. The soul of the wielder. So essentially, I believe crystals start out like colorless, and until a Jedi finds them, and then they get their color depending on the Jedi that they met. And when Sith have their red crystals, it's because it's been corrupted by the dark side of the Force. And I personally think that's narratively way fucking cooler than Sith just made synthetic kyber crystals because they couldn't go to the mines. I love the idea that that instead of making a fake kyber crystal to compete with real kyber crystals, they killed Jedi and corrupted their crystals, turning them red. I think that's kind of cool. That's just me.
explain the whole crystal thing to you guys, because I know this is going to be probably controversial and a lot of people may not know or understand of it. You might be new to the channel or whatever. So Disney created this new rule when they took over Lucasfilm and bought it, that red lightsabers are no longer synthetic like what they used to be when George Lucas owned Star Wars. They're now turned red by bleeding the crystal, kind of like a mood ring. You know, if you're angry, it turns red. And you do this by pouring your hatred into the crystal itself. It's not an easy feat to do. Darth Vader did this and failed several times in the Vader comics. Here's a clip from one of the comics that I covered.
Throwing all of his hatred, betrayal, fear, sorrow, and everything broken within the boy who dreamed of becoming a Jedi. As lightning crackled from the fiery skies above and lava swirled around him like the pain within his black soul, he let out a scream as if he were being born 1,000 times.
Until finally getting it right. Mind you, he was conflicted, of course. However, much more powerful than Dagan Gera, or Osha, or May, and I believe he's been through a lot more pain than any of them combined. Anakin lost so many people and was born into slavery, but hey, I guess Osha can do everything easily. Soul dies, Kimir is happy.
You really want to get into that one? Okay, Anakin lost his mother, yes. Anakin lost... from Padme, that was his own fucking fault. Who else did Anakin lose? I mean, with Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the 3D show, there's a lot of planting the seeds for Anakin's fall with how Ahsoka got treated by the Jedi Order. Like, they set up those dominoes in that show. So, and we just have one season of Osha with pretty understandable motivations. Like, she wanted to be a Jedi. Everybody around her didn't want her to be, except her one supportive mother. Her other mother was not supportive of that at all. She wanted Osha to live the life that the mother wanted for her, not Osha to live her own life, kind of thing. And then for many, many, many years, Osha is told that her own sister maliciously burned down her family home, kind of thing, and like killed everybody there. And that's what Osha believed for the longest time. And then in this episode, her trust in those foundations cracks and breaks apart, and she's overcome with all the rage in the world, kind of thing. So thematically, it absolutely made sense to me that Osha's crystal would be corrupted. I personally actually didn't know about the Darth Vader's comic where he's like putting a bunch of effort into corrupting a crystal. That does seem cool. It does kind of seem to undercut Vader, because like Vader is supposed to be, well, he was supposed to be the strongest force wielder to ever live, and then Obi-Wan played what's a joke about cutting somebody up? Whatever. Obi-Wan cut off his limb, cut off all of Anakin's limbs and essentially severed his growth within the Force, so he would forever remain, in effect, he would forever remain just a shadow of his former potential and could no longer become more powerful than Palpatine, kind of thing. But in the moment, Obi-Wan thought Anakin was going to die there, on Mustafar.
And goes to console her, where she gets angry, lashes out, ignites the saber, which is now bleeding, so it starts to turn red, and she looks very shocked and confused. Vernestra and the band of Jedi from Wish arrive, who can't use the Force to find the most powerful Force manifested Chosen One children's Osha and May in the galaxy, 2 miles from them, they have to follow the gopher tracker guy to lead them. Nice. The Force works in mysterious
What's his
ways, I
name?
suppose. Vernestra feels the presence of her former Padawan, Chimere, and she uncovers Soul's body, who has moved like 3 times at this point, but, you know, whatever, blue.
What? Like he's moved a little bit within the scenes? So what? What's the big deal with that? I mean, they probably did multiple recordings over multiple days, and they probably didn't have an exact outline of where he was supposed to be lying or whatever.
Happened in the prequels and originals too, I guess. I guess the Force is just strong with him. Osha and May meet up at the tree from their childhood as they hug and crouch, and then Chimere shows up, saying, "If I sense you, so can the Jedi. But that's the thing, Chimere. They can't sense them. So they need the tracker." Osha says that she wants to go train with him.
Maybe Chimere is trying to put extra pressure on the two so that he can get the outcome he wants by manipulating the events. Kind of what Sith do.
And to let May go. So they hear the Jedi tracker nearby and they got to make a fast decision. So May says that the Jedi are going to use her to get to both of them. So the easy answer is Chimere says, let's just give her Alzheimer's. I have this power where I can completely wipe her mind and make her forget about everything, including her own identity. You know, I guess Chimere could have used this against the Jedi, but maybe he forgot about it. It's the irony of that power.
Okay, so in my understanding, in order to do that to somebody that's like a Jedi and would be resisting it, would take way the fuck more effort than somebody who's willingly letting that happen to them. But yeah, let's just pretend Chimere is weak.
I suppose. Because that would be quite a massive plot-changing ability. Imagine, you know, fighting someone and then mind-wiping them mid-battle, and then they're like, why am I here? Oh, you know what? I don't even know how to wield a lightsaber. What is the Force? But then I guess you could be like Rey, and you could just have someone say the Force, and then they'll all of a sudden know how to use it. So, you know, in the end, Chimere kind of gets what he wants. He wanted the rule of 2. He wanted an Acolyte. So he mind-wipes May.
Yeah, Chimere wants the rule of 2. He wants to be the master, but he needs an Acolyte that's strong enough to help him take out Plagueis.
With a wave of his hand, super quick, and that's that. Osha, who is back to loving her sister again after having, 50 different split personalities during the show, literally is given...
I will agree there, Osha did seem to flip a fair bit. Or not a fair bit, more so that she seemed very quick to change sides. Granted, it's 8 episodes of what felt like it should have just been a movie. But hey, that's not... Honestly, I do think Star Wars, Disney should just stick to movies. Because, if The Acolyte was made as a movie, I think it would be a lot better.
A memory wipe, which is one of the most horrible diseases that a human can get, which is Alzheimer's, gets arrested by the Jedi, and the two literally completely leave. They literally piss off. They just leave her there, confused, not knowing who she is, and get arrested by the Jedi. Nice. Cool. While...
Honestly, I do think they should have taken May off planet. Let Osha and May have, a day together to just be sisters again without all this shit. But they are kind of playing into the tragedy of Osha never really getting to spend time with the sister she cares about, despite all her conflicting feelings.
Osha leaves with her new boyfriend, Chimere. Lost and confused on her identity, May is taken to Vernestra, who stands like Palpatine, says, remove her restraints, and then, get this, she says, leave us.
Oh, you just heard about Trumpomania? Yeah, it is so fucking dumb.
You no longer need those. Guards, leave us.
The whole show is just a very copy-paste of moments of Star Wars, quotes, characters, Virgences, Qui-Gon trying to be Soul, or Soul trying to be Qui-Gon. Osha and May are Anakin, the Virgins and the Force. Then you got freaking Plagueis coming in. There's a lot of quotes from this episode alone that were in the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. But I guess that helps with this ambiguous, confusing, wishy-washy, diluted dribble of a show for $180 million. Nice. May remembers nothing other than fragments of her childhood. As Vernestra talks about how kind and brilliant and compassionate of a man Sol was, she then stands before a trial and completely throws him under the bus, blaming the killing of the Jedi that Chimere dealt on Sol to cover his own ass, allegedly. She blames all of this trouble.
It's almost as if she's trying to cover up the fact that one of her former apprentices has fallen to the dark side because she wants to remain in power, in unchecked power, that if news did get out that literally a fallen apprentice is killing off Jedi. Where's a little screenshot? Almost there. There. Right there. That politician, she doesn't want him to put, like I mentioned this earlier, Vernestra doesn't want that politician, I honestly forget his name, doesn't want him to put checks and balances on the Jedi's power. And this is literally her covering up the problem. Like, there is a poison going on, and Vernestra is using a band-aid instead of an antidote. And honestly, I'm just rereading your comment. Don't take space politics too seriously, right? Yeah.
On one flawed man. Literally, that's the quote. One flawed man is the problem. Nice choice of words, Leslie. You know, we aren't all your former boss. Some of us are decent, I suppose. Chimere and Osha hold hands as they look into the sunset. The new Sith baddies out there that Plagueis knows of. The final scene is Vernestra walking into Jedi Master Yoda's quarters, and she says, "Yo, we need to talk." I guess Yoda, was unaware of all of the killings. It just right over him. He is pretty short after all.
You know what's weird? That they had trouble figuring out who killed all the kids when Order 66 was happening and the Jedi Temple was falling. Wait, actually, didn't Yoda realize? I wonder if Yoda knew that it was Anakin at the time, because he said to Obi-Wan, "You'll only find pain," when Obi-Wan needed to confirm. I don't know.
All. Yet he could sense Anakin killing random Tusken Raiders on Tatooine, sensing Order 66, communing in the Force with Qui-Gon Jinn, or, in general, just sensing the fact that she is lying to him blatantly. But hey, I guess he didn't learn those powers for maybe another 87 years, which is when the Phantom Menace starts. Maybe that's when he had his growth spurt, and he was like, "Oh, I got some new powers now. Check these out." Man, I really went into this show with an open mind. I've been excited for this show since years ago when it was first announced. And I have to say, this is by far and large the worst Star Wars, and it's not even Star Wars. This is the worst show I think I have possibly ever seen. For me, and you can agree or disagree and let me know in the comments, I think this is worse than Game of Thrones final season. I think this is worse than The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I think this is worse than Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi combined. I think this is potentially the worst show I have ever.
What was wrong with Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan? Obi-Wan was kind of fun. I like all Star Wars properties. I had some issues with it, but largely it was enjoyable. That's how I feel about the Acolyte as well. It's got some issues, but it's also got some really cool shit.
Ever seen in my life. Take Star Wars out of it, which confines it and constricts it to even more rules. Just from a writing standpoint of the wishy-washiness of the characters, the overall premise of the witches and the Jedi coming in. You know what? I don't even want to reminisce. I don't even want to reminisce about this show.
Wait, it's your conclusion. You're summing up why you don't like it.
In my life. Take Star Wars out of it, which confines it and constricts it to even more rules. Just from a writing standpoint of the wishy-washiness of the characters, the the overall premise of the witches and the Jedi coming in. You know what? I don't even want to reminisce. I don't even want to reminisce about this show. I want to leave it in the dust. We're going to talk about it this week. I'll be on Open Bar, and then I'll be chatting with Gary on Friday Night Tights and with Mahler, and that'll be fun. And then, we'll probably have a few back and forths with the show and stuff for the next maybe a little bit, and then that'll be it. I've never witnessed something so bad, like just bad. And, if you like the show, more power to you. Continue liking the show. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Please enjoy it. I'm never, ever going to be a person that'll say, hey, if you like the show, you're not a true Star Wars fan, or you shouldn't like the show. No, dude, I wish I liked it, but I don't. I think it is such shit. I think it is the worst thing I have literally ever seen in a show, media. The fact that this cost $180 million is so embarrassing. I think Leslie should be embarrassed. I think...
Honestly, I don't get why they keep bringing up Knights of the Old Republic movie. Would be awesome if it's done right. Oh, absolutely. I don't get why they keep bringing up, why he keeps bringing up, like, it cost $160 million and previous movies cost less. Does dude know about how inflation works and how things start costing more and more? Like, what's the issue with the price on it? What would he rather have spent the money on? Personally, I could think of a few things that they could have spent less money on. They should go back to more physical props rather than sticking so much with CGI, and that's its own thing. I don't need to get into it this video.
Lucasfilm should be embarrassed to ever produce garbage like this, and I hope they never will again. But we'll probably get a second season, and we can all talk about it then and enjoy the watch parties. But yeah, that's my...
So, you don't like the show, and anybody who does like the show, more power to them. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And I'm also going to be making content about how I think it's a shit show, and like, okay, but it just seems a little contradictory to me. I don't know, maybe I'm just biased. Probably.
My view on the Acolyte. I hope you enjoyed my sentiments. I don't even know if you could call this a breakdown. It's more like a freaking expose down. I don't know. Again, these are only my opinions. Go check out other people's opinions online. There's a lot of different ones. And hope you all have a great day. May the Force be with you. Always.
Interesting. Alright, I can't just click that button. Yeah, largely... I genuinely enjoyed the show. It's a pretty fun watch. The lightsaber fighting was pretty sick. I actually liked the choreography in this more than I liked in Ahsoka, honestly. I think one of my biggest criticisms would actually be that the actor that played Osha and May didn't really differentiate the two characters all that much. Which, I mean, I guess, okay, they're the same person, but they grew up very differently. But the thing is, they had flashback scenes to when they were children, and the kid actor actually differentiated the two quite a fair bit. Now, outside of that criticism, I'm honestly having trouble thinking of issues I legit had with the Acolyte. It's literally just Osha and May were not differentiated as much as I would have liked, and the pacing largely feels off because it really feels like they were trying to make a movie but had to cut it up and stretch it out for 8 episodes of a season. If they were to focus more on creating it as a show, maybe that would be solved. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see with season 2. Well, that was 20 minutes of psychic damage. Was that Did it take me 20 minutes? Oh my god, that took me an hour to go through it. I had the video on 1.25 times speed. Okay, I guess I should jump into my other stuff. Let's see. I think we move on to the tricky situation. Actually, I gotta BRB for like a little bit. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Ah. God, that Star Wars thing took longer than I expected. That's going to be a fun one to edit. Okay, I think I do want to move on to the tricky stuff. Tricky wee. Okay, let's jump into it. So about a week ago, there was a newsworthy thing. Trump got his ear pierced. And by that, I mean somebody made an assassination attempt on him. There were a handful of VTubers that actually... Hey Aiden, how you doing? There were a handful of VTubers that had made jokes about it. Personally, I missed my shot with making a timely joke. I tweeted that one out. But the one that I saw get really dogpiled is Tricky. Because, well, honestly, I don't even think she made that bad of a joke. People are just upset that it's about an assassination attempt, or in relation to an assassination attempt. Anyways, let's just jump right into it. There. So she had deleted the tweets where she made the joke, but don't worry, the best people on the internet screenshotted it. Like real stand-up people. Anyways, Tricky tweets out, "I messed up with a very poor taste tweet. I made an impulsive, stupid joke in the heat of the moment and immediately regretted it. I jumped the gun. I see what you did there. Not knowing the full story of the situation. To jump on the bandwagon of, quote, missing your shot tweets, believing that no one was harmed. I have educated myself now, and I'm incredibly sorry. While I'm all for a good joke, this was not one of them, and it was highly insensitive. I would never advocate for anyone getting hurt. It was a childish mistake. The JK tweet was an attempt to lighten the mood, but it made it seem even more insensitive to a serious situation. I am very sorry. The quote, not giving a fuck tweet was directed at a replier, not the situation itself. Oh man, like, I saw one of the dragon from Mulan, that scene where he says, "How could you miss?" Yeah, I saw that one too. It was very funny. Oh crap, I'm even more mad that Haya Raichik and her ilk are now doing the same to working class people and getting them fired. Like, yeah, fucking libs of TikTok. I'm pretty sure libs of TikTok was crying about how Stone Toss was getting doxxed and shit, and then she's going and getting fucking a cashier at Best Buy, or not Best Buy, Home Depot fired. Like, the people that are making the jokes on Twitter are not the fucking problem. It's the fucking people in power. Like, the person... Anyways, so what was the actual joke that Tricky had made? Well, Kirshtir and Rev Says Desu had saved the screenshots. Tricky had tweeted out, "Remember to always shoot your shot. Sir, surely you won't fucking miss. Not the time or place, Tricky. I don't give a fuck. The unfollow button is right there." So this was a conservative being mad that, oh, I'm purposely forgetting Grums. Fuck Grums. That's what I heard, Natalie. I had heard that he was kicked out of the gun club for not being a good shot, and, well, given the situation, I believe it. You can joke about Trump getting an ear piercing, but just a reminder, you should never endorse murder, guys. Well, yeah, you don't want to murder people, but I'm not going to shed a tear for somebody that's actively supporting an insurrectionist. I don't care if they get shot. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. Ganging up on Tricky and others. Who were the others that got dogpiled? I just saw people jumping on Tricky over this. Yeah, there's huge hypocrisy from the right criticizing jokes from the left. Like, they incite violence a lot and have been for years. Yeah, like, the right love to make their jokes about Paul Pelosi and Hammer Time. Like, even Trump Jr.'s... Yeah, Trump Jr. made that joke. Oh, the Jack Black... What the fuck? Am I back? OBS said I disconnected. Like, Jack Black laughed on stage at Kyle Gass's joke, and then fucking posted that tweet or the Instagram of how it was bad to make those jokes. Yeah, it said stream disconnected for a second. I'm betting it's the FBI trying to silence me. It's totally not just some random glitch that happens once in a while. Trump did January 6th. That wasn't even a joke. Yeah, no, like, with January 6th, fucking, what was it? With Trump doesn't even deny that it was an insurrection. His defense is that you can't impeach me, or you can only charge me if I was impeached as president. And then, like, they argue that presidents can't be impeached because they're above the law bullshit. and then now that he's no longer president, you can't impeach him because he's not currently president. It's stupid. Not to mention the fact a firefighter died protecting his 2 daughters and wife during the attempted assassination is what started the skirmish too. What, did he bring his daughters to a political rally? Yeah, these damn glitches. They're the worst. She already explained in her apology that she didn't know that when she made the joke. Like, literally. Are people just wanting to forget that all the shit that Trump has done? And like, there's so many people still supporting him. They want the dictator to take over their country and they'll throat his cock over it. But if you make a joke, you're the bad one. When the right wing are literally trying to stop democracy. I just remembered that the shooter was a Republican, but I'm wondering why he did this. To my knowledge, the shooter, Thomas M. Crooks, was a registered Republican, but hadn't actually voted. And, like, I believe he was 17, like almost 18, not quite able to vote in the 2020 election. However, he was looking up a lot of different kinds of politicians, both Democrats and Republicans, right before the shooting happened, kind of thing. And it just seems like Trump's rally was the closest one. So I don't actually think he was on one side or the other. I think he was a very damaged person that did not have their mental health treated and had access to firearms. Plus, I don't see why the same people complaining when politicians say, God save Trump, assuming their God chose not to save the other guy who was killed. Well, yeah, they saved Trump by killing that father. Obviously. And remember, God saved Trump, but he didn't save the Uvalde school children that were shot. Anyways. So there's also a skirmish between Destiny and Kirsch a little bit regarding the same situation. Seems like a Dylan Roof incident trying to spark a war or something. Honestly, at this point, it's been a week and we still don't fully know the motivations. Personally, I thought a manifesto would have dropped by now, but we will see. Anyways, I don't know what started any sort of beef between Kirsch and Destiny, but this caught my eye. And yes, this is an out of context clip, and we're going to look at Kirsch responding to the clip, so stay mad.
Destiny literally streams himself being cucked. He doesn't have shame. He's out here saying he'll sleep well if bad things happen to his parents. If they get killed at a rally, he's saying, yeah, I'll sleep comfortably. They made their bed, they can lie in it. He's out here mocking and making fun of people that got shot because they're Trump supporters.
Yeah, Destiny was saying he is consistent with this. I believe people were asking him, well, what would you do if your parents were shot at the rally? And he said he wouldn't shed a tear. He wouldn't lose any sleep if his parents endorsed an insurrectionist and went to a rally to support that insurrectionist. That would be the bed they laid in. He's very much against insurrection. Odd, huh?
All jokes are acceptable, and immediately after a tragedy is typically the best time to make a joke about said tragedy.
I'm not a very easily offended person, but watching that video got me thinking, dude.
Okay, apparently Kirsch's defense for this is it's okay to make fun of the tragedy, or it's okay to make jokes about a tragedy as long as you're making fun of the person perpetuating the tragedy and not the victims. But, I mean,
What the
knows?
hell are you thinking? Some subjects are simply not to be talked about. Hashtag new rules. Well,
No, I completely disagree with that. It's like the most recent shooting I haven't gotten to talk about on stream yet. There was another transgender shooter that went to a church in Texas, and as far as I know, only 2 people got hurt before
How
the
old is
police
this clip, I
neutralized
wonder?
the transgender shooter. So we still haven't gotten the complete first Tranifesto. I don't know if there's a Tranifesto for the Texas church shooting, but hopefully we'll get one. Apparently they also had Free Palestine written on their weapon. I don't know. I haven't gotten a chance to go through all of this on stream, but it's like, if we're going to start seeing a trend of these
5 months, it
so-called
said?
transgender
Yeah, I thought
people
so.
shooting up churches.
right there, she was playing into the rhetoric of an epidemic of trans shooters. Like, isn't there, how many are there? 5 trans shooters that have happened? When there's well over, like, there's hundreds of mass shootings that take place. Honestly, I've been growing a little more fond of Destiny lately. Just catching up a little on chat. She's just spreading random shit she's seen on Twitter. I mean, that's what I do too, so I'm not gonna call her that bullshit. Like, literally, that's half my channel. Anyways, Kirsch responded. I heard some people saying he was Asian, and that's clearly wrong. Wait, people are saying who was Asian? Thomas Crooks? He's clearly a white dude. I don't think there are any jokes about the Titanic's captain. Give me a sec. No, I really can't think of any joke about Titanic's captain. I guess it just went down with the ship. I'm just having real joke iceberg. Happy someone big is finally calling out for her lies. Well, you actually look into stuff and it's not random. You show us the tweets you talk about. Fair enough, but let's be real, I'm not actually doing a whole lot of deep diving into tweets. Most of my quote-unquote research is just seeing tweets pop up on my feed and I hit bookmark. Though, honestly, it's been getting a little harder to find the stuff to talk about, because, like, I tend to mute accounts nowadays. I don't bother blocking. I just, I don't care about what you have to say anymore. Mute. And then it's like, oh, now I'm not getting discourse as much. Huh. Funny how that happens. When you look at that kid, you hear Weird Al's White and Nerdy. Yeah, I get that. So anyways, Kirsch responded, Destiny seems to be so angry at getting demonetized or banned everywhere for making fun of shooting victims. He has to take time to clip me out of context and have his goons try and contact my sponsors. Making fun of a person perpetuating a shooting is always okay, because these people should not be revered or placed on a pedestal. It's very weird that anyone would think you shouldn't make jokes about a shooter, but maybe Destiny thinks I am wrong since it was a church that was attacked. There is 0 jokes where someone expresses a shooting victim deserved it. It's not a joke when someone wishes a shooter didn't miss a target. I think you can joke about anything. Not all of them are going to be funny, but you can make jokes about anything. It's not a joke when someone wishes shooter didn't miss a target. These are statements. Do not let other people shift the narrative into making you argue about jokes. We're arguing about jokes right now. That's what this is all about. If these people didn't lie to you, they'd have nothing. These people have to lie to you because they hate you and they want to see you destitute. You guys remember that Kirsch was banned from Off Kai because some staff members felt uncomfortable with her attending. Well, I can see why, given this clip that she posts.
Humor is a matter of taste, but if you think anything in that video is funny or lol so true, then your taste is bullshit. If you think it is a funny joke or a parody, you aren't welcome anywhere near me. Bye.
Bye.
Hashtag ugh, ableism, racism, sexism, violence, trigger word
The
violence,
Latin word government literally
transphobia.
means mind
Judging
control.
by the user
Oh
icon,
no.
this person suffers from some medical disease that makes it impossible to look at a camera when taking a picture of themselves.
It's just a
Hopefully they
MySpace
find a
angle,
cure one day.
Jimothy.
Hopefully.
Fuck. Making so many of these goddamn people that cry the crocodile tears won't show their face because they're not going to dox themselves. Personally, I think they just don't want their shit opinions tied to their actual faces. Like, I don't care enough to switch on my secondary camera right now, but my oldest videos on this channel, I was a flesh tuber. I don't care. I actually say my shit with my chest. But hey, that's just me.
Globix85 writes, okay, a new rule is in effect. If I ever see the Welcome to Tumblr video on my dash, the post will be blocked, and if you're not a friend of mine, you will be unfollowed. Why, you may ask?
I don't know what
Because I
that
don't
video
think
is.
making fun of some things that are legitimately serious issues to people is acceptable, and the video is in very poor taste.
All jokes are acceptable, and immediately after a tragedy is typically the best time to make a joke about said tragedy.
I'm not a very easily offended person, but watching that video got me thinking, dude, what the hell are you thinking? Some subjects are simply not to be talked about. Hashtag new rules. Well,
No, I completely disagree with that. It's like the most recent shooting I haven't gotten to talk about on stream yet. There was another transgender shooter that went to a church in Texas, and as far as I know, only 2.
Okay, we're back into the clip where Destiny was posted. What does crocodile tears mean? I hear it often, but I don't know. Basically it's like when somebody is saying, "Hey, Joestar." Fuck, like I don't have a defined definition or definitive definition over it. I'm just going off of context clues. I'll be completely honest there. But it's basically when people are pretending to cry. I don't really know why it's called fake being sad. That's what it is. Yeah, I just don't know why it's called crocodile tears. But yeah, crocodile tears is where they're faking actually caring about the stuff they're talking about. The added context doesn't make anything better for Kirsch tears so far. Oh, it gets worse. Don't worry.
2 people got hurt before the police neutralized the transgender shooter, so we still haven't gotten the complete first Tranifesto. I don't know if there's a Tranifesto for the Texas church shooting, but hopefully we'll get one. Apparently they also had Free Palestine written on their weapon. I don't know. I haven't gotten a chance to go through all of this on stream, but it's like, if we're going to start seeing a trend of...
Maybe because crocodiles don't cry, but they do get water around their eyes often. Yeah, I could believe that one. Because in the South, we have some weird sayings. I fully believe that one. I have heard some weird Southernisms that are just kind of wild to me. Like, you know what's wild to me? The Southernism Coon's Age. Because, like, the first part of that has been used as a racial slur for a long time, but that term predates the racial slur. It actually is about how people used to see raccoons so often they thought they never died. They thought they were literally immortal. So the history of the term Coon's Age is older than the racial slur, and it's insanely dumb. Is she doing the whole very transphobic shooting thing? That's what it sounds like. Raccoons are smart and live a long time, actually. Yeah, like they do live a long time, and they are quite smart. But back in the day, people used to think that raccoons were immortal because people were dumb and our understanding grew and grew. It was like I want to say 1800s was when that term was coined, perhaps before. Always give the raccoon to garbage.
Of these so-called transgender people shooting up churches. They seem to just be enacting the conversion therapy on themselves at this point. Like, we don't even need to try.
Know what? Right there. Doing conversions therapy on themselves. We don't even need to try. It is... I would love to hear how somebody would argue that that's not fucking transphobic. But it's a joke. It's a transphobic joke. It's still a joke. No, I don't know what a holler is.
Right? White non-Hispanic El Salvador? Yeah, literally the most Hispanic name I could think of, listed as white non-Hispanic. That's, when I first saw that, I was like, female, white, non-Hispanic. Okay, so this must be also a male. If they're lying about them being white and non-Hispanic, sure.
Anybody know the specific shooting she's talking about? It's a small valley in the Appalachian Mountains. Oh. Huh. Yeah, I didn't know that. Like, there have been at least 3 shootings in Texas when I searched, like, Texas church shooting. And I'm not exactly sure which one she's talking about. It might have been in February. I honestly can't remember. If somebody wants to link me, please do.
Surely they're also lying about them being female, right? No, apparently it's actually a biological female who thought they were a male, which also made me think of the prior Christian Academy shooting. And it's like, well, previously mostly men were mass shooters. The only woman I could think of off the top of my head was one of the Islamic shootings. There was like a sister or something that helped the guy. I want to say that was in California, but I could be wrong. My mind is not the best at recalling these things.
I honestly don't keep up with a lot of shootings. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. I do know that the majority, like the vast majority of shootings are done by men, mostly white men.
And then the YouTube shooter who didn't even get to do anything, right?
Okay, I did hear about that one. It was a person that actually managed to get into the YouTube headquarters and fire off some shots. She hit people. She didn't kill anybody. I'm pretty sure she injured at least one person before the security on the ground or at the fucking headquarters boxed her in, and then I think she killed herself.
But San Bernardino, that's the one that I was thinking of. Thank you. Thank you. So now we get these biological women claiming to be men perpetrating shootings. Is it all the testosterone? If they're hyped up on testosterone, is that what's going to finally bring female shooting statistics in line with males?
Huh. I thought the conservative line was you can't change your sex. And here she is talking about how, hey, changing up your hormones actually does affect your body somewhat. It affects your brain chemistry. It affects your muscles. It affects a lot of things. What happens when you start changing your hormones? Yeah, she thought this extra context makes her look better, and on it, I'm willing to bet there's more than one trans shooter, but I refuse to believe there's an actual epidemic of trans shooters. Because, like, fucking wild. Fucking wild. Also, Washington Post, thank you. The data is clear. There's no clear epidemic of transgender mass shooters. Picture of Donald Trump Jr. There's a clear epidemic of trans and non-binary mass shooters. March 28th. One thing is very clear: the modern trans movement is radicalizing activists into terrorists. Benny Johnson, production chief of Turning Point USA, in a tweet March 27th. And then, well, they go through a lot of this. So, mass killing at a small Christian school in Nashville has led to unfounded claims by right-wing personalities that transgender Americans are a potential vanguard of mass shooters. Like, I will say there's 5 trans shooters, and then there's like 150 non-trans shooters. But trans people are the fucking problem because of people on Twitter that say mean things about conservatives. And not how people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, an actual political representative of state, is talking about how is fear-mongering over trans people. Okay, police have said that Audrey Hale, the 28-year-old they identified as the shooter who killed 6 people in Monday's rampage, was transgender, citing a social media profile in which Hale used masculine pronouns. Wait, what was their chosen name then? I'm gonna just call them Mr. Hale then. The post has not confirmed how Hale identified. Okay, so that's their legal name. We don't know their preferred name, assuming they are trans. Marjorie Taylor Greene had her Twitter account temporarily restricted after she posted a screenshot of a graphic that referred to, quote, Trans Day of Vengeance, end unquote, in the wake of the shooting. She was referring to an event aimed at protesting anti-trans legislation. Yeah, to what I know of the Trans Day of Vengeance, it's a meme. I personally don't really like playing into it because it gives the worst kinds of people online ammunition to say hey, or like to play into this fucking narrative. But, I mean, free speech, say what you want, you're free to get criticized. Twitter has also removed tweets supporting the event. During last year's mass shooting at Texas elementary school, Representative Paul A. Gosar tweeted speculation, which he later deleted, that the shooter was a, quote, transsexual leftist illegal alien. The shooter was none of those. I don't keep up with mass shootings. I have better things. His name was apparently Harry Allen for Mr. Hale. Okay, let's get into the facts. In this tweet, which received more than 10 million views, Johnson listed 4 shootings. The Colorado Springs shooter identified as non-binary. The Denver shooter identified as trans. The Aberdeen shooter identified as trans. The Nashville shooter identified as trans. In response, his tweet received a exclamation mark tweet from Twitter owner Elon Musk. These are straight facts, Johnson responded to Musk. Actually, these are facts without significant context, and the other gender identity of the shooters in some of those instances has not been established definitively. Let's take the cases in chronological order. Oh, Harry Allen was the cowboy you mentioned? I'm gonna be honest, I get a little confused keeping up with chat and shit. There are some black and white photos of him, often used as an example of trans people existing throughout history. Oh, okay. Yeah, like the oldest example I can cite of like gender non-conforming people would be the universal public friend. Boop. Just in case anything not great pops up. Universal public friend. They would actually get mad if you gendered them wrong. They want it to be they them. Boop. Born in November 29th, 1752. And then of course there are other cases that go older. But yeah, back in 1750 to the 18, they lived 66 years. Wow. But yeah, look up on this person that they wanted to be always, what was it? They just wanted to be androgynous. They didn't want to be referred to as male or female, so what's the big issue? There isn't one. That's just how they wanted to be. Anyways, this shooting was last year, by the way, 2023. I'm willing to bet the shooting Kirsch was talking about does not involve the shooter being trans, and she's parroting lies that said they were. Yeah, I don't know specifically what shooting she is talking about. There is so fucking many that go on in the US, it's damn near impossible to keep up with it. And I will be fair, this article I'm reading comes from March 30th, 2023. But yeah, there's a lot of fucking shooters that the vast majority of them are not transgender. But people want to fearmonger over trans people for some reason. They're not transphobic, but there's just a lot of trans shooters. That's what they want to talk about. Okay, where were we? In 2018, in Aberdeen, whatever. A 26-year-old shot and killed 3 people at a pharmaceuticals distribution center before turning the weapon on themselves. The sheriff said the shooter had been diagnosed as mentally ill in 2016, and the Washington Post reported that a close friend reported the shooter, quote, suffered from bipolar disorder and struggled since early in high school with severe depression, partly connected to her feelings of not being accepted when she first came out as a gay teen girl, later as transgender. The Denver incident involved 2 shooters who, in 2019, opened fire at a public charter school focused on a math and science curriculum. 1 student was killed and 8 were injured. Court documents said the one shooter, 16 at the time, told investigators he intended to target classmates who repeatedly mocked him because he was transgender. And yeah, maybe don't call them or mock people that look mentally unstable. Maybe try and get them the help they need so that shootings don't happen. And this is all because people don't like using pronouns, I guess. It's the usual bully environment leading to horrible incidents. Yeah, that's a huge factor to it. There's also the ease of access to firearms in the US, but Americans don't want to talk about that. And there's also the massive issue of the mental health crisis that's going on. Fucking, there are a lot of people that will, what is it? Like, they will make their jokes and discourage people from actually seeking out therapy, as if it's weakness to actually get your shit to, like, get your ducks in a row. It's not a bad thing to do that. Go to therapy. It helps people, literally. Then in 2022, 5 people were killed and 25 injured at a queer nightclub by a 22-year-old shooter who claims to identify as non-binary and uses the pronouns they, them. Was that the Club Q? However, the police detective testified earlier this year that the shooter ran a neo-Nazi website, used gay and racial slurs while gaming online, and posted an image of a rifle scope trained on a gay pride parade. Which just screams to me that that was somebody trying to psyop. Huh. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know non-binary Nazis. I've ran into a handful of trans women that fell down the Nazi pipeline. But honestly, for non-binary people, legit, I've never met a non-binary person that's actually a Nazi. And like for trans women to Nazis, it's like 1 in 1,000 that I've come across. And now, of course, we have the Nashville shooting. As we noted, police have identified the shooter as transgender, but that has yet to be confirmed. Oh, people just love not confirming shit and running with their narratives, don't they? In this video, Donald Trump Jr. noted that Centers for Disease Control and Prevention surveys indicate that transgender people make up 0.6% of the adult population, about 1.6 million. A Washington Post KFF poll released this month found less than a third have used hormone treatments or puberty blockers, and about 1 in 6 have undergone gender-affirming surgery or other surgical treatment to change their physical appearance. End quote. I wonder if non-binary people just have an extra level of discomfort from the strict boxes fascism tends to bring. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that has a huge role to play with it. Because, like, there's a decent portion of trans people that just want to fit into the other box. The other box being, like, just being male and female. And the non-binary people tend to want to break away from that. And fascism, speaking broadly, loves to just cram people into boxes that they're easier to control. So we need to elevate the incident of mass shootings to use the metric that transgender people are 0.6% of the population. First, we should note that there is no universal definition of mass shooting or mass killing, and how individuals and groups define the term can create a huge discrepancy in statistics used to describe the frequency of these events. The Washington Post defines a mass killing as an event in which 4 or more people, not including the shooter, have been killed by gunfire. The Post does not consider factors such as location or motive, but many databases exclude killings attributed to domestic violence or gang warfare. Under the criteria for mass killing, just one of these tragedies, Nashville, would qualify for inclusion. The Violence Project counts 188 mass public killings since 1966. So with 0.6% of the population, transgender people would expect to be involved in about 1 shooting. Quote, Nashville is the first case of a trans male or trans female perpetrator in the database, said James Densley, professor of criminology and criminal justice at Metro State University and co-founder of the Violence Project. Quote continues, we will likely update our gender coding when we code this case after more information has been revealed and verified. As for mass shootings, we will turn to the Gun Violence Project. Since 2018, the organization has counted 2,697 mass shootings under a definition of 4 or more shot or killed in a shooting incident, not including the shooter in any circumstance. This methodology would allow inclusion of Aberdeen and Denver cases cited by Johnson. With 0.6% of the population, one would expect at least 16 mass shootings to be conducted by people identifying as transgender. Instead, there are just 3 possible cases cited by conservatives. So yeah, the number is a lot higher than I expected, but I'm not that surprised. 2,600, I'm going to go with 700. 2,700 mass shootings, and there are 3. There are just 3 possible cases. Trump and Johnson did not respond to request for comment. I wonder why. The Pinocchio test. What's this? Far from any epidemic of trans mass shooters, the evidence shows that people identifying as transgender are not committing mass murder at a higher rate than their percentage of the population. 3 of them and 3 and some are maybes. Exactly. Pinocchio test? Yeah, we're looking into it. Conservative commentators and politicians should not be so quick to make such claims without placing the facts in context. 4 Pinocchios about our rating scale. Send us facts by... I hate you, Washington Post. I hate you so much. What is the Pinocchio scale? Don't make me read another... Oh, fuck right off. Thank you. You're being helpful. Okay, whatever. So yeah, like, back onto the Trump assassination attempt. Like, the most vitriol is not being generated by dipshits on Twitter making jokes. The most of the vitriol is coming from the politicians and the pundits who are making the claims of, like, epidemic of trans shooters. Oh, neat. They followed me back. Let's see. It's a lot of fear mongering. It's seriously like, oh fuck, I just closed that. Bookmarks. There's a point I wanted to make. I don't know if I already did because I'm forgetful. This call is coming from inside the house. Yeah. Okay, so back to this one. Here's Kirsch saying, this is what years of propaganda and dehumanizing language leads to. And in the clip she herself posted, she is propagandizing, and I would actually argue dehumanizing trans people broadly by fixating on the fucking small examples of trans shooters, when broadly speaking it's not trans people that are the issue. It's what we mentioned earlier, the ease of access to firearms for mentally unstable people, and the inability for people to actually seek out mental health help. It's going to cost people up the fucking ass to actually talk to somebody about that. I think mental health struggles should actually be free. Like all bit of medical care. I guess I am biased because I'm Canadian, but you shouldn't have to pay to see a doctor. You shouldn't have to pay to see a brain wrangler. If people, at the very least, if people had more money in their pockets so that they could go see therapists, I really believe the statistics would decrease for mass shootings if people could actually talk it out. And there is so much vitriol created by people like the pundits of, or like, yeah, pundits, the politicians that are claiming that trans people are the issue when it's not. They just don't want to actually engage with what we have to say. Yeah, no, fuck Trump. Trans people get death threats all the goddamn time. If some lefty on Twitter want to be edgy over an assassination, let them. Yeah, literally. I don't care if people make jokes about Trump's assassination. I make jokes about Trump's assassination. I didn't tweet him out because, like, the assassination attempt happened right before my stream, and then I had posted within my Discord politics thing, I posted some memes. I think they were funny. I didn't make the memes, I found them on Twitter and then saved them. However, I think people can make jokes whatever the fuck they want. I don't think people making jokes on Twitter is the issue. I'm going to keep nailing that home. I'm going to keep hammering that home because, like, the root of the problem is not getting addressed with this finger pointing blame game. It's not fucking tricky on Twitter making a joke of, like, seriously, how can you get so offended over remember to always shoot your shot, surely you won't fucking miss, angry face. Like, I myself have gotten Wojak pictures of trans people being hung where the noose is at an angle of the trans person and then there's 4 of them in like a fucking swastika. But yeah, let's not talk about that ever. Jesus Christ. Personally, I think they are okay with such jokes as long as they're made about people they don't like. And personally, I've said it earlier, I don't care if you make jokes about whatever tragedy you want. I care if they're funny or not, and funny is subjective. Not everybody's going to find a joke funny. Personally, I'm glad to see famous people who are progressive like Tricky. I want to see more progressive people. Honestly, I am sad that she deleted her tweet and then fell into the, oh, I feel I shouldn't have made that joke, blah, 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 blah. Ugh. But yeah, I think I'm about done ranting about that topic. Please, for the love of God, tell me it's recording. She hasn't posted anything in a week since her apology either. Well, yeah, that's kind of what happens when people get dogpiled on Twitter. They'll stay off for a while. I'm willing to bet she'll be fine. Because honestly, the only thing that can actually stop you when you're getting dogpiled or called out on Twitter, whatever, the only thing that can stop you is you. You just gotta let them beat you down and then you just stop and then they win. Like, for fuck's sakes, Dr. Disrespect can still come back and have a platform, even though I don't think he should. But I can't stop him from doing that, especially since the fucking... I honestly wish that they had released the logs. This is completely unrelated, but like, had they released the actual logs of what Dr. Disrespect was saying, he can use that plausible deniability to just come back and then downplay everything and people will eat it up. I don't know, she might have gotten harassed for it or thought it wasn't good since the guy in the stand actually got shot. I'm gonna be real, I don't have sympathy for that firefighter. Like, did Trump ever talk to the family? Or did he just kiss the dude's helmet at the RNC? I don't think Trump even cares about his own supporters. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that his name was spelt wrong on the jacket, but from what I've actually heard, that dude, that was the actual jacket he was wearing. It was a misprint when he got it, and then he kept it that way. But for real, the big issue is Trump never reached out to the family. That, and like, I honestly can't understand how people can be like, trans people are sexualizing children when literally Trump. There are so many pictures of him looking extremely inappropriate with not only his own daughter, but with a lot of underage people hanging out with Epstein and literally being charged for sexually assaulting a minor. The only reason that court case was dropped, by the way, was because the plaintiff was receiving death threats to drop the case right before the 2016 election started up. So, I don't care if that, fuck's sakes, I don't really care if that was, or if that didn't get a court ruling. In my book, that Trump is a fucking child predator. I don't care. Oh, Nessie, I guess you should have assumed something like this, but I didn't want to make assumptions. I should look into the... I am confused, what? Yeah, I've been getting issues. I feel sorry for the guy after seeing him wish for the death... Oh, hard to feel sorry for the guy after seeing him wish death of Palestinians. Yeah, like... It was a dude willingly at a MAGA rally. What kind of shit do you think he was tweeting out? Wasn't Trump on Epstein lists like a lot? Absolutely. He was also in a fuckload of pictures with Epstein. And not just, oh, they happen to be in the same area. It was like, they're sitting with teenage girls, hands on their waists kind of thing, smiling. Like, the people that defend Trump and call trans people predators, saying hashtag leave the kids alone, aren't even looking at what Trump was doing. He is their messiah for whatever reason, and they want to lick his dictator boots. Yeah, and Trump keeps getting away with it because he's rich. Well, my mom is unfortunately in the MAGA gang, and I think her boyfriend went to a rally while he had issues. He was nice to me and my trans brother. Oh. I'm glad that they're being friendly to you, but that's a huge warning sign if they are MAGA gang, because like Project 2025 exists and they're trying to do it. And it doesn't look good. Like, I will say, I am glad to be Canadian that I don't have to worry about Project 2025. However, the reason I'm pretty invested in American politics is because America is Canada's canary in the coal mine. Fucking, the way America shifts, Canada likes to shift along with it. Like, we didn't have a whole lot of publicly vocal white nationalists, and then Trump wins 2016, and then Canada a few years later, we get the fucking Freedom Convoy that cries about needing their First Amendment rights, And me, as a Canadian talking to other Canadians, I say, you get your First Amendment right. You get to acknowledge Manitoba is a province. That is our First Amendment. Because we had free speech written into our actual country's law, whatever. I don't remember. It does get confusing keeping up with the Electoral College political system of America and the parliamentary system of Canada. However, there is a depressing overlap of the far right. Oh, Canada has its own problems too. But I am getting off topic. I think I'm about done rambling about this situation. I have no idea how long I've been going. It's probably been about an hour. Yeah, I just think he didn't know much about Trump and just ignore most of the yikes about him, thinking it's just people framing him. I don't know. He's dead now, by the way. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of people that just don't listen to any of the call-outs of the people they look up to because they're stuck in their camps. They just want to... They just want to feed their own biases kind of bullshit. Okay, I am starting to run a little long. What can I end this on? It's very funny that oh my god, I will. Okay, I'll leave it on this meme because it's funny. MAGA in 2020. Fuck you, I'm not wearing that face diaper. Because, you know, the pandemic, we should have worn masks to prevent getting other people sick, and MAGA didn't want to do that. And the I'm not a sheep crowd now is putting tape on paper on their ears in solidarity with Trump getting his ear pierced. Fucking wild. Fucking wild to me. I would never wear one of those ear diapers. Like, I want to be able to hear people. I can't hear in these. God. The best thing about the pandemic is how many MAGA people it killed because they didn't get vaccinated. The saddest part about it is how it killed 1 million Americans, and a lot of people that did get vaccinated, oh fuck, the virus fucking mutated in the unvaccinated, and then it got around the fucking vax and killed people. But no, it's just another kind of cold. It's just another type of flu. Fucking... I hate these people. I hate these people so much, and I like it when bad things happen to them. Okay, I'm done with that segment. I am actually going longer on stream than I expected I would. Yes, the boomer remover. Okay, we've been talking about a lot of negative stuff. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go on to one more topic, and then that'll be it for the stream, because, well, I'm going to go hang out with a friend, IRL, support her. Talk about your party. I literally just did. Like, I literally just mentioned that I'm going there. Probably going to go. Have a good night, Nessie. Thanks for swinging by. There's like a 45-minute or 45-second lag. That sucks. I've actually been having issues with my OBS today. It's the first time I've actually had it disconnect a little. It's fucking frustrating. Okay. I'm sorry, Bale. I know I usually stream later in the day, but today I'm actually streaming earlier so I can go I'm gonna go hang out with friends IRL. But I've been going over a lot of bit of negativity this stream. Let's go into something a little positive. Okay, so who has heard of the Japanese crazy mascot? Have y'all ever heard of Cheetan? Yeah. So when I was first hearing about Cheetan, I thought, oh, this is a pretty funny mascot, pretty silly. Excuse me. They seem neat. However, Cheetan has gone from neat to awesome. I wish I had bookmarked the tweet. She's apparently a Ruby account too, or a Ruby fan too. Nice. I think I saw a picture or a video of Cheetan replicating Ruby scene. Does anybody happen to have the thing where Cheetan says they're agendered? Because, like, Cheetan doesn't have a gender. But what I really want to talk about is, first of all, there's this. Oh, fuck, right. Whoop. There's this tweet by Cheetan replying to a suspended account. I literally don't know who they were replying to, but Cheetan is Japan's crazy mascot. So he's crazy and suspicious. It's okay to say bad things about Cheetan as much as you want. However, please refrain from saying bad things about transgender people. Transgender people are Cheetan's family. Even if you hate someone and become aggressive, the time that follows will only leave you sad and you will not gain anything from it. Cheetan loves you. I love you even if you hate me. Why don't we be best friends from now on? Choose your favorite Cheetan from this video. Cheetan will always be in your heart. What's the audio? Wait, can I play the audio on YouTube? Oh yeah, thank God. What the fuck is actually happening? Like, this is the first time I'm actually watching. Who's your favorite? I kind of like the pink racket one. Because, like, we get Cheetan with the drop kick here. But... oh, this... Cheetan has been wrestling too? That's fucking awesome. So yeah, like, Cheetan is becoming more and more pro-trans, and I'm just loving it more and more. I actually started following Cheetan over this shit. So this person quoted, "Transgender people are Cheetan's family." And what if I cried? And then Cheetan responds to them, "Yes, transgender people are my precious family, and I love them with the bottom of my heart. Transgender people are less accepted in Japan than in the US, and people may look strange when they declare their identity, but I don't mind. It's a small thing like people saying bad things about Cheetan, so it's not an issue. It's far more important that transgender people all over the world are able to enjoy life peacefully, being themselves as a matter of course. I will continue to send out messages to protect the rights of transgender people. Please lend your support to Cheetan. Your voices give me energy. I love you all. Please continue to be by my side. Oh my god. Fucking... Don't make Cheetan use the Hokuto Shinken. I can just imagine this fucking Cheetan appearing behind some fucking foam and being like, oh my wamo shinderu, pulling out this fucking sword. Oh, this is great. This is great. But yeah, support Cheetan and their dream of reaching 10 million followers. They're almost a fifth of the way there. I'm just legit glad that the mascot of Japan is being so pro-trans. I like seeing progressive things. It makes me happy when progressive things happen. I really don't have too much more to add to this. I know there was something about fuck, I wish I had bookmarked more. I definitely saw Cheetan saying I don't know which charities should be supported, so give me a heads up and we can shout them out, kind of thing. And of course, charity is great. Cheetan and David Tennant should hug. I need to see that crossover. I think Cheetan fought Maki Ito. I need to see that crossover. Oh my god. I'm gonna start paying more attention to Cheetan. They're adorable and they're pro-trans, and that's all you need in life. Which, I mean, is like a lot of transgender people. Posted a few things to you in Discord. Okie doke. Make me look at Discord then. Message requests. Pause. I don't know who DDT Pro Wrestling is. And I also don't like content stealing from people I like. So, like, this looks great. Golden Bat. Okay, it is in Japanese. I should have expected this in Japanese. Oh man, don't fuck with Cheetan. You're gonna get fucked up, dude. Like, for real, I want to see where this is going, but I also don't want to get in trouble with DDT wrestling. Because I know WWE is like super on the ball about don't watch our shit or don't steal our content, kind of thing. But I hope that that heel that attacked Cheetan gets fucked up. You need to watch this. For those that do want to watch it, legit, in chat, there you go. Definitely check it out. I'm going to be watching that off stream because, like, I don't really know what I have to add to that. But also, here's a picture that Becca sent me. Cheetan, is that Maki Ito? I don't want to sound like a racist, but I don't exactly know what she looks like. I just know we were talking about the two of them meeting or fighting. It is? Okay, thank God. Oh, I would have been canceled on Twitter for that one. Oh. I'm just happy it just makes me happy when such big prolific people, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna say Cheetan's a person because Cheetan says trans people are people, so Cheetan's a person in my book. I just like it when prolific people are pro-trans, because Maki has some nice shoes. Yeah, those are very nice shoes on her. Because I just like it when people stand up for trans people. And yes, I am biased. I don't care. I can't tell some Japanese people apart, but to be fair, I also can't tell some white apart. I'm not racist, I'm just dumb. Fair. Fair enough. That was a fun little segment. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna end that one there. It was just a nice little fluff piece to end off the stream because, like, I was wading into a lot of negativity and bullshit. But I like seeing positivity. Despite the rest of my channel. Oh my god, I dive into negativity so fucking much. Okay, I think that's actually about to wrap up stream. I do legit want to do like a longer stream next weekend because I don't have any plans for next weekend. I don't think, anyways. So we can talk about a whole lot more stuff. I'm going to try and look up more fun Cheetan stuff because unironically, there's a part of me that wants to like end the streams with talking about Cheetan. Oh yeah, right. Maybe next weekend I'll talk about Assassin's Creed finally. Like how so many people are mad about there being a black guy in it. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun, and I'll see y'all next time. Next stream, I'm definitely going to want to do a stream during the week. I'm going to be continuing Pokemon, this gym of mine. It has been a fuckload of fun, and I'm only like 2 hours into the game. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna finish Pokemon this gym of mine before I move on to a different game. And if you don't want to catch the streams or go through all of the streams, when I have beaten the game, I will be doing a recap video so you can get the gist of the fun we went through. And I'm gonna have some highlighted clips in there as well. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Oh, will you show us Pokerogue? I can, yeah, I think I should. But yeah, have a good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's been wonderful. Take care. Have a good rest of your weekend. I'll see you next stream. And remember, if you can't be the sharpest tool in the shed, you can always be the hoe.